Hi and welcome to By Hook or By Needles. My name is Sam and today I am going to show you this really pretty, oh yeah, I hope you didn't hear my cat grumbling then. I think she disagrees that it's not a pretty stitch. Is that what you're doing? Are you disagreeing? I think it's a really pretty stitch. It's called, whoops, get the fluff out of the way. It's called double lace rib. I'm not sure that I'd actually use it as technically as a ribbing on a jumper or anything, because it's not sort of like springy in that sense, but it is really, really pretty. And it's almost, recently I did this part here is basically very similar to I think I called it the one row, or was it the 2 row? 1 row repeat lace stitch without a name or something like that recently. And that's sort of what's going on in the middle here. And then it's separated by just 2 knit stitches. It is not reversible in the full sense, like no, it's not reversible, not 100%, but it does look okay, I guess, on the reverse side, but that's okay. We're going to do it anyway, even though it's not reversible. I like reversible stitches. Okay, this is a multiple of 6 plus 2. So I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So that's 3 6s is 18, plus 2 is 20. Now this is our right side. And on the right side, we start off and we're going to knit 2. That's the knit 2 panel, and then we are going to bring our yarn forward and we're going to just purl 1 stitch, and then we're leaving the yarn in front. We're going to knit the next 2 stitches together. Now, as you know or may remember, maybe you don't know, so I will explain it again. When you leave your yarn at the front and you knit the next stitch, or you knit the next 2 stitches together, this is a decrease because you're knitting 2 stitches together. But because the yarn is left at the front, when you bring it to the back to complete that knit 2 together, you actually create a stitch. See how that creates a stitch? And that's also what creates a nice gapey lacy hole. So you are gaining a stitch and losing a stitch at the same time. Okay, and oh, I did that wrong. Meant to be through the back loop. Let's do that again. So yarn forward, and then we're going through the back loop. Okay, through the 2 back loops. Just like that. Then we've got 1 stitch there. I'm going to bring the yarn forward. We've got 1 purl stitch before the 2 knits. So we're going to purl that. And then we're going to knit the next 2 stitches. And that is basically your repeat. So your repeat is purl the first stitch, leave the yarn in the front. You are then going to knit the next 2 stitches together through the back loops. See, I just picked up the back loops there. And when you do that, you're decreasing, you're taking these 2 stitches down to 1, but you've added 1 at the same time because you had your yarn in the front. we bring our yarn forward and we purl the next stitch. So start again, we knit the first 2 stitches, bring our yarn forward, we purl the next stitch, we leave our yarn forward, we flip our work to get the 2 back legs of the next stitch and we knit those 2 together. We lose a stitch and we gain a stitch. And then we bring our yarn forward and we purl that one, and then we end with knit 2. Yeah, there we go. The reverse side is we purl the first 2, and we knit 1. So we've purled the purl stitches and we knit the knit stitches. Purl 2. So we're going to purl that purl stitch. You can see it's got a bump up there. Purl that purl stitch. And we're going to purl the yarn over that created the new stitch. And we're going to purl that. And then we're going to knit 1. So you're basically knitting the knit stitches and purling the purl stitches. But you're also purling that yarn over. So we're knitting the knit stitches, we're purling that purl stitch, and when you get the stitch like this and you think, well, I don't know whether that's a purl or a knit, we just know to purl it because that's the way the pattern goes. Yarn to the back, knit 1, purl 2, to the back, knit 1, to the front with the yarn, purl 1, purl the yarn over, knit 1, and finally we purl 2. And we turn our work again. Now, this is where it might, or it can get a bit tricky. The first row of the repeat, we knitted through the back loops when we knitted our 2 stitches together. This row, which is our 3rd row of our repeat, so I didn't mention that beginning, did I? It's a 4-row repeat. So the next row, we're going to do almost exactly the same, except for we are going to knit the 2 stitches together through the front legs. So that's what alternates, and that's what creates this zigzag. That's what makes it sort of zigzag like this. What helps sort of create that zigzag. So the 3rd row is knit 2 stitches. We purl 1 stitch. Purl 1 stitch, yep. Then we take the yarn to the back, because we're not going to add our extra yarn over yet, and we're going to knit these 2 stitches together. So we've decreased by 1, and then before the next purl we need to yarn around. Right, I'll do that again. So the yarn's already at the back. We need to bring it to the front, over the needle, and to the front again, because our next stitch is a purl. and that is a stitch we've increased. So in the first row you are yarning over basically and knitting 2 together through the back loop. This one you're knitting 2 together through the front loops, and then you're doing your yarn over, your increase. I hope that's clear. Yarn to the back, we knit 2, we purl 1, go to the back, we're going to knit 2 together through the front loops, and see, because we haven't done a yarn over here, that brings that snake chain, whatever you want to call it, back this direction. Now we need to add a stitch, so we're going to bring our yarn forward because the next stitch is a purl, but we're going to go all the way around the needle again to actually create a new stitch, and then we're going to purl that one. Yarn to the back, knit 2 stitches, bring a yarn to the front, purl a stitch, I'm going to put a yarn to the back, I'm going to knit these 2 stitches through the front legs together, so we've decreased. Now we need to increase, and we've got a purl stitch coming next, so our yarn needs to be to the front, but we also need to increase, so we're going to go around the needle again, purl, and we've added a stitch. Yarn to the back, and we knit 2. See, now these little gaps here are created by our yarn overs, and that's what causes that snaking. So in one row we're doing the yarn over before we did our 2 stitches together, and in the other row we're doing the yarn over after we've knitted our 2 stitches together, and that's what causes that zigzag to go back and forth as it is. So the last row of the pattern is exactly the same as the second row, and that is basically knitting the knit stitches and purling the purl stitches. So we start off with 2 purl, then we've got a knit, and then we come to a yarn over. We're going to purl them. We're always going to purl the yarn over on the wrong side. So in that respect you can say you're knitting the knit stitches and purling the purl stitches. Okay? Any questions, just please ask me. I'm more than happy to sort of explain what's going on if it's not been made clear. And I'll even do I have been known to do little extra videos for people who are not sure on something. So yeah, yarn forward and purl the next 2. Knit 1, purl 2. So it's basically knit 1, purl 2. Till you get to the last. Yes, knit 1 and purl 2. That's right. Yep. Okay. Knit the knit stitches, purl the purl stitches, and purl the yarn overs as well. So that's a 4-row repeat. You just go back. You can rewind the tape and play it again. But now the first row will be, and I'll just start the first row so you can see how it's different. Is you're knitting the first 2, you're purling 1, and we're going to leave the yarn at the front because we want our yarn over to be on the, you can have a look, you can see hang on, let's go take that stitch off. And you can actually see, if you start learning to read your work, you can see here. This is my yarn over, which I purled. This is my yarn over gap, right? So I know, because the yarn over gap's there on the left hand side of my snake, this time I need my yarn over to create a gap on the right hand side of the snake. So I purl that stitch and I leave the yarn forward, and then I knit the next two stitches together through the back loop, and see how that's going to create a stitch. So we decreased one and we increased one, and now you can see I've just created my lacy gap, my lacy hole on the right side of my vine or snake or whatever you want to call it. And that's how it alternates. So one row you're doing your yarn over and you're knitting through the back loops, and in the second yarn overs knit two together thing, you're knitting two together and then you're yarning over, but you have to take it all the way around to come back for this purl stitch here. I hope that's easy to understand. Like I say, if you have any problems at all, more than happy to help and explain things a little bit better or differently. Sometimes, you know, I'm not necessarily explaining badly or wrong, but I might not be explaining properly or well enough for you to understand, because it's not in terminology or in a way that you're sort of familiar with. So I'm more than happy to re-explain in a different way, which might help things better. So I'm just going to finish this row, and then I can say goodbye. I hope you enjoyed the stitch today. Whoops, yep, hang on, almost forgot what I had to do then. I really enjoyed this stitch as well, because it's got that stitch that I like in between the two knit stitches. So yeah, I like that. I like the that lacy look, and it's, you know, it is a great stitch for a cowl or anything really. I mean, I wouldn't use it necessarily for a scarf, but I might use it for a blanket or something like that. Not a baby blanket, but yeah. Okay, so yeah, so you can, you know, you can look at this now. If you put this down and come back to it tomorrow or the next day, and you think, okay, let's say I've done this. Let's say I've come back and we're starting from this end again, and I don't know whether I'm doing my yarn over and knit through the back, knit two together through the back loop, or whether I'm doing my knit two together through the front loop and then yarning over. All you have to look for is your gaps, and if your gap is on the right hand side of your vine, then you need to put a gap here on the left hand side, which means you're going to do your knit two together first, then you're going to do your yarn over to create the gap. So that should help you sort of work out which way, which row is next. So I can look at this now and go, okay, well, the yarn's at this end, so I know I've got to do the wrong side next. And then when I turn it around this way, I can look and say, okay, well, the gap's here, I need a gap here, so I know that my next row is going to be a row 3, because I'm going to have to knit these two together, then create a loop which will create my spaces that I've got down here. Okay, I hope that's clearer than mud. I hope it's a lot clearer than mud. Thanks very much for watching. Please give me a thumbie. It really does help. And I'll say bye for now. And I'll see you next time. Take care.